Oh, it's that time, rounding up your country music entertainment news for the week right in this channel. It's called Murph's Music Roundup. Hey, thanks for stopping by. My name is Murph. You can always give me a follow right there below on the gram. And I do a shorter segment called Murph's Music Minute where it keeps you up to date, where I'm talking about the country music news happening at that moment. This is a roundup of the big stories that happened throughout the week, and I'm catching you up on it. It's a more longer form. I get into more detail with it. And let's get things rolling with the first story today. Got to get into Jelly Roll's ex-wife, Bunny XO. You know, she seems to be moving on from her divorce rather quickly because a video came out this week of Bunny XO making out with a guy named Dylan Wolf. Now, if you're wondering who this Dylan Wolf guy is, because I was too, he's actually a reality star. He's on this show on Netflix. It's a new reality show called Calabasas Confidential. And apparently the two were caught locking lips on the rooftop section of JR's Goodnight Nashville bar. Here's the interesting part of that. So that bar is actually partially owned by none other than Jelly Roll. I mean, technically, isn't that her bar still until the divorce is final? Or was Bunny XO trying to deliver a message by making out with someone in her ex's bar? What's the strategy here? I'm curious to know, like inquiring minds want to know now. It just makes me wonder, was there a strategic reason why Bunny XO was with Dylan Wolf at that bar, planting a kiss? ... And this next story, Dolly Parton, she's set to hit Broadway. I'm not talking about Lower Broadway in Nashville. I'm talking about Broadway in New York City with the new Dolly musical that's coming out. It's going to be called Dolly, a true original musical set to open on Broadway on Dolly's 81st birthday, which is January 19th. Now, there will be previews in December, kind of like a soft opening. And this actually stems from a musical that premiered in Nashville, now going through some tweaks and changes to be a Broadway musical. The cool part of this is that the show tells the story of Dolly in her own words and her music. In case you were wondering, the big songs, Jolene, I Will Always Love You, and 9 to 5 will be, in fact, in the show. Dolly also teased that there's going to be new music on the show as well. There's one thing I'm pretty sure I feel confident in guaranteeing is that Dolly Parton will in fact be there opening night in January in New York City. All right, let's go into the next story. Taylor and Travis, the weddings era. Now, when you get married, typically what you do is you tend to go on a honeymoon right after the wedding. That's kind of what happens normally. Some people wait a little while, others go immediately. So are Taylor and Travis on their honeymoon? Not just yet, because they were in California celebrating another wedding. This one was Travis Kelce's teammate, former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, now Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster. And in case you're wondering, yes, Juju was at Taylor and Travis's wedding. But now that we're in the Taylor Swift married era, we can honestly say this was probably the first time that Taylor and Travis were in a public gathering together as husband and wife. You know what's funny? It kind of hits different now. Oh, and if you're wondering how much Taylor and Travis's wedding cost, well, a website called The Knot Worldwide came up with an estimate. Yep, they broke it all down for us, saying that the rental of Madison Square Garden alone was between $5 and $10 million. Also, you got to add the loading in and out, the stage and all that. You got the floral decor, which I hear was beautiful. You got the carpeting. You got the catering. But anyway, adding up all the expenses, they're saying it came to between $20 and $30 million. And Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce's brother, mentioned that it was a beautiful wedding. And yes, he drank 15 beers. Imagine if it was a cash bar. Like, think about this. You have this beautiful, extravagant wedding, and then it's a cash bar. Oh, man. It wasn't a cash bar, though. I just want to make it clear. But imagine if it was. That would have been funny. You know, there's one thing that Kane Brown will not allow his kids to have. What do you think it is? I mean, a lot of times people think, oh, too much iPad time and stuff like that, right? Nope, that's not what Kane Brown was referring to. You see, Kane Brown has 3 kids that he shares with his wife, Caitlin. The oldest one is soon to be 7, and she noticed the tattoos on Daddy's body, and she said, "Those are cool tattoos, Dad. I can't wait till I get one." To which Kane Brown quickly pumped the brakes and said, "No, you're not getting any tattoos. At least while you're not living under his house, that is." And you know what's interesting is that Kane Brown does, in fact, have a lot of tattoos, possibly some that he may regret. And that's why he doesn't necessarily want his kids to get them. You know, his childhood and upbringing was completely different to the way he's catering to his kids. He didn't have necessarily his father there in his life as much. And so he may have been getting those tattoos as his way of projecting, you know. So I could see where he's going with this. I could see and understand why he doesn't necessarily want his kids to get tattoos. But I'm sure as they get older, they're probably going to have discussions about this as a kid. Like parents out there, go ahead and comment below. Would you be okay with your kid getting a tattoo when they're of age, of course, you know? Are you okay with that? And let's round up the final story of Murph's Music Roundup with Megan Moroney. You see, when you're an artist on the road, you get lonely. So what do? Well, Megan Moroney did the obvious. She got a companion. She is now the proud owner of a dog. She's a dog mom. Now, to be fair, she did get the dog back in February. She introduced the dog to the rest of the world here in social media. Before she got the dog, she wanted to make sure that the dog was trained for the lifestyle that she's living. Tour bus life, road life. And it's a cute little puppy. But what's the name? That's what you want to know, right? What's the name of the dog? Well, Megan Moroney had 2 choices that she was going to go with. One was Boots. The other one was Lorraine. You may ask, why Lorraine? Well, Megan Moroney has a song, Waiting for the Rain, which when you're singing it or saying it faster, it sounds like the rain is Lorraine. Waiting for Lorraine, waiting for the rain, waiting for the rain, waiting for the rain. Kind of sounds like Lorraine, yeah, right? But she didn't choose that. She chose Boots. And that's because the hind legs of this cute little tan dog are white, kind of like Megan's cowgirl boots that she wears on stage all the time. And just so you know, Boots has a full name. It's Boots with a Fur. I know it sounds regal and prestigious, but it's actually thanks to Flo Rida's hit Low. Yep, Boots with the Fur. Yeah, that's where she got that from. Boots with a Fur. Hey, at least it's not apple bottom jeans. Like, she could have named the dog Apple Bottom Jeans. Thankfully, she didn't do that. I like Boots with the Fur. Get low, low, low. And there you have it, rounding up the country music news of the week that hit hard for me, at least. You know, maybe you caught some of them, maybe you didn't. But I hope you did enjoy this. It's Murph's Music Roundup. Hey, if you do like this material and this content, do me a favor. Subscribe today. Drop a comment in the comment section. Like it. Share it with a friend. I do appreciate that. And if you like to stay updated during the week, you can go ahead to my Instagram and follow me right there. And I do a Murph's Music Minute where I give you country music entertainment news throughout the week. But thanks again for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time with Murph's Music Roundup.